sex ed for teens is a necessity. In a survey done by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in 2011, 47% of teenagers say they have sex. 63% say they use condoms, and only 23% say they use birth control. 1 in 4 girls will be pregnant by the time they reach 20 in the United States. Schools need to teach not only how a baby is made in puberty, but how to prevent pregnancy and diseases. While for most adults it is strange to think of their kids having sex, it is even more trying when they find out their child is pregnant or has an STI or STD. Knowledge is the key to preventing this for both genders. No more splitting kids up, boys and girls, when it comes to teaching sex ed. Boys need to know all the facts about girls just as much as girls need to know all the facts about men. Boys and girls need to know how women take birth control and what it does, and contraceptives you can take after you find out you're pregnant, like Plan B, for example. They need to know where you can get tested for an STI or an STD or pregnancy. They also need to know what you need to do after you find out you're pregnant or have an STI or an STD in order to get medication for your STI or STD, or whether you plan to terminate the pregnancy or have the baby or do an adoption. All this information comes from Benefits of Sex Ed on Man-Made website. Teaching young people about sex gives them the freedom and independence they strive for. They will be able to decide based on all the facts. And another important aspect of sex ed is that it teaches teens sex is not what it looks like on the big screen or on the little one in their room. Sex is not just fun, there's consequences to it, and people need to learn that. Despite all these benefits, lots of people aren't convinced that sex education is a good thing. They worry that their teachers will teach them the wrong information since they're not experts in sex ed. They just know the basics of it. They don't know the health things, where to go whenever you find out you're pregnant or have an STI or STD, or what to do. They also think students are going to get embarrassed, and they shouldn't talk about it if students get embarrassed. But embarrassment can be the difference between having an STI or an STD or pregnancy. The biggest one is religion. Lots of religions teach their young not to have sex until they get married. While saving yourself for marriage is a good thing, if you choose to have sex before and your parents don't teach you, you're going to get screwed over in the end, because you won't know how to prevent pregnancy, how to prevent a disease, what to do if you get into those situations. The pros and cons of sex education on onlymyhealth.com lists these and even many more reasons why you should have sex education in schools. Another one being that sex education is not a necessity in schools. It's looked at as an extracurricular, but if it's with our health and our children, that should be a necessity. It should not be an option. Not knowing how to properly do something, whether it's how to safely have sex or drive a car, can make a big difference. Sex ed is not about giving kids the opportunity to freely have sex. It is about teaching them how to take the responsibility if they choose to have sex. It's about giving them the opportunity to choose and letting them be responsible for their actions. Sex ed needs to be a necessity, not an option in schools. Change the statistics so that more kids will use the proper preventions when it comes to having sex.